GMT, this is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umar Rusanda Amadou. Tonight I'm here with
Ejibi Wiafe Akente.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
If resources were available, we should be employing and recruiting up to 50,000 teachers across the country. But owing to budget, we are unable to do that.
Budgetary constraints forces Education Ministry to recruit only 7,000 instead of 50,000 teachers into the education service. We'll be hearing from the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, here on Eyewitness News. Also coming up, as government launches free primary health care tomorrow, minorities demanding a refocus on completing the ambitious Agenda 111 left by the previous administration. And still on Eyewitness News, policy think tanks in the energy sector points to taxes amounting to 1 cedi, 65 pesos, which it says, if scrapped, would reduce the price of fuel.
We do think that there should be a balance. There should be some fairness in which taxes can be touched and in what proportions.
And still on Eyewitness News tonight, we'll be hearing from the New Patriotic Party, which is alarmed at the spate of arrest of its members, which it describes an attack on press freedom and a return to the dark days of censorship against the media. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business, we will be talking about
IMF cuts global growth to 3.1% for 2026 amid Middle East conflict.
So that's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. The show is live around Ghana on a number of affiliate stations and across the globe on citinewsroom.com. We are interactive. Send us your messages 0549 986 996 0549 986 996 or go on Twitter, now known as X, mention my handle at Umar Rusanda or at Citi973. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We start off with the New Patriotic Party, and the group is unhappy with what it describes as a number of arrests of its members who were criticizing the government in various forms and shapes. Alexander Penyo-Makin is the Member of Parliament for Efutu and also Minority Leader in Parliament. He is one of such persons raising this concern. He's joining us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, Honorable. Hello, sir. Leader, good evening. Can you hear me? Honorable Penyo-Makin, can you hear me? Apologies. We are having difficulties with the Minority Leader in Parliament. We'll try to re-establish connections with him, but we have seen stories suggesting that the party's communications officer for the Bono region, popularly known as Baba Amando, has been remanded into police custody for some 2 weeks. We are told that the judge did not grant the application for bail that was put before him earlier today. Let me go back. The Honorable Alexander Penyo-Makin, you're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir. Sorry, again, we've lost that connection. We'll try and re-establish that connection with him. Earlier, we saw a report suggesting that the party's former MP and former mayor of Kumasi, Maxwell Kofi Juma, has also had some officers of the law visit him in his residence in the Ashanti region. We'll be checking if that is also a fact and if that will be part of the catalogue of issues that the party is raising issue with tonight. In fact, we've also seen other party members complaining about the situation where they say that the party has simply been targeted or party members have been targeted by the government. We've also seen a video of the party's officer from the Bono region, Baba Amando, who was being put in handcuffs and taken to police custody. Let me just play for you some of the things he said when he was escorted out of court earlier today.
Justice has happened. Remember, Ghana, you read about J.B. Dankwa. J.B. Dankwa gave his life for this country. I am not better than him. President Mahama will pay someday. God is greater than him. Travesty of justice has happened. It's okay. Travesty of justice has happened. Remember, Ghana, you read about JB Dankwa. JB Dankwa gave his life for this country. I am not better than him. President Mahama will pay someday. God is greater than him. Travesty of justice has happened. It's okay.
So that's the NPP's Baba Amando. He was speaking there after attending court earlier today, and he was being taken into a police vehicle by officers of the police, and he clearly taking issue with the president. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka. In Accra, we are around the globe on citinewsroom.com. Let me speak to the Honorable Alexander Penyumaki. Honorable, can you hear me now?
Yes, please. I can hear you, please.
Great. Apologies, we had a difficulty reaching you earlier. So I have told my listeners about your officer for Bono region, Baba Amando, but is he the only person that you're having issues with in terms of being arrested or being questioned by state agencies? Who else has been mentioned, for which reason you believe that this is targeted arrest?
I don't understand. You said who? Which one?
Okay, we're talking about what is your... We understand you have some challenges with recent arrests of your officers or members of your party. Who are the members of your party who have been arrested in recent times that you have issue with?
First of all, let me confirm, are we on air?
Yes, you are on air.
Okay, very well. So, yesterday, two officers of our party, Abronye, the Bono East Regional Chairman, and then the Sunyani East Constituency Communication Officer, Baba Amando, were with the police. In the case of Abronye, he was invited, and he responded to their call. And for that of Baba Amando, they invited him to their station in Sunyani. When he got there, he was told that order from above that he has to be brought to Accra. He cooperated with them and came with them to Accra. So in the evening, I was there with the national organizer, the deputy whip, Honorable Jerry Shai, and then Menshia South Member of Parliament, Honorable Nana Ajay Bafuiwa. We were all there to find out what the case was. In the case of Abronye, the police had already ordered for his detention and had been sent to the police cells at Greater Accra region. But that of Baba Amando, they were taking a statement. So, upon discussion with the police, the consensus was that I should, if I want to stand surety for both, they could release them to me, which I did. So, we brought them home, and then this morning, Baba Amando was asked to report at 10 o'clock, but I reported at 8. And around 10, after interrogation and all that, the CID told him, or the investigator told him that he is to be charged before Court 9, Circuit Court 9. So he made himself available at the Circuit Court 9, sat there from 11 o'clock thereabouts. I was called to be in court as his lead counsel, so I was there in court. We sat in the courtroom. They told us they were filing and all of that. We said no problem. Eventually, after 1:30, the court clerk drew our attention that the judge was ready to call the case. And as part of the procedure, I led my colleague, Nana Ajay Bafuiwa, as counsel for Baba Amando. The police read the charge sheet, the charges. His plea was taken, and the police indicated that they were not applying to the court for Baba Amando to be remanded. I repeat, the police indicated that they were not interested in any remand.
Did they volunteer that information, or it was a
yes,
question?
I am telling you, Imaru.
I'm just asking you. Please listen to the question. Did they volunteer that information on their own, or the judge asked them if they needed a remand?
Let me, I'm narrating a story. Let me get there.
Yes, but if I need clarity, I think I should be able to.
Yes, I agree, but I'm saying let me finish the narration. When I'm done, then because once I'm not done, the questions come. It will be problematic. I beg you. Okay. So the police spoke first, as is the practice, and I came in to tell the court that the man is a public servant and he would make himself available to the court to stand trial because the police indicated they were not ready to pursue the trial or to start the trial because they needed to do forensic audit of the pictures allegedly posted on social media. So I went on to ask the court to admit him to his existing bail, especially so when the police was not opposed to bail. The police was not opposed to bail, and then the police was not asking for remand. And all these are matters on record. Then when we both sat, the judge now asked the police, wouldn't you need him? And then the prosecutor responded that yes, we will need him for questioning us and when. And then the judge asked him again, the forensic audit that you need. And the police the prosecutor was very specific that all that the investigator wanted to do was to subject the social media post to forensic examination. These were his words, forensic examination. Then I drew the judge's attention to the fact that the prosecutor is not asking for remand. He's not saying that he would need the man in detention because he may interfere in the process of forensic examination. So what are you trying to drive at? So he wanted clarification. Tomorrow, out of nowhere, the court now says that, okay, he has a discretion. So he has looked at the situation. If bail is granted, the accused will interfere in the investigation. So he should go on remand for 2 weeks. Jesus Christ. This is the country we are in. Umaru, Infante, my mother will say, Fabi, so. The situation is so upsetting that you can't get upset or get angry. So you must laugh over it. It's laughable. Our country is being reduced to something else. That a judge sitting there, we all know that when prosecution wants remand, they have a serious issue. They will state and make an application. And let me take this opportunity to commend Ghana Police Service. I want the records to reflect that if for nothing at all, yesterday and today, they have demonstrated professionalism. I will commend the IGP. I will commend the Director General CID. I will commend the police prosecutor. I will commend the detectives. They've been professional. They have been professional. But that judge, the circuit court judge, shame unto him. Shame unto him. He has brought a big shame unto himself and the judiciary. That prosecutor does not need a person in custody They've granted him bail. You even he pushed him. Let me finish. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just want I want your advice as a lawyer. If the judge should hold you for contempt, would I and my
You should hold me for contempt.
No.
Please, you should hold me. I'm ready. You should jail me.
Leader, I'm not worried about you. I want to know if
I want to go to jail.
Leader, please listen.
You should jail me.
I want to know if I'm complicit, so I dissociate
No,
myself.
you won't be complicit.
Okay.
What have you done? The judge should jail me.
Okay.
What you've done is shameful. We are a country of Democrats. We are a country of Democrats. You are a judge of a lower court. Prosecution comes, you are leading him to say that or grant him a remand order. The man refuses and acts professional at the bar. Then you go ahead and you say that the forensic examination, and let's check unless she gets the clerk decides to delete the records, because I ensured that every single thing entered the record, and I was paying attention to the record. The prosecutor said they need to do forensic examination because the issue had to do with social media, and they have seen a post. By the way, in the charge sheet, the police themselves said there is no complainant. According to the records, the gentleman had posted some pictures about His Excellency the President, Honorable Ofosu Kwachi, and then Honorable Sam George. And those pictures have some depiction that portray them as female. So they want to subject those pictures to forensic examination. Those were their words. And then as a result, they think that they will need some time to finish that examination and come to court. Why would a judge then turn around and say that I am going to remand an accused person to go into custody for 2 weeks, because if the man is released on bail, he will interfere in the forensic examination or in investigation. Omaru, I have to be careful. Are you done with your law, or you are still studying?
I'm still studying, and I have a question based on that.
Okay.
Section 96 of Act 30 governs...
discretion, eh?
Yes,
discretion.
governs...
Okay, so you exercise discretion.
If I can learn, and the judge does not need the audience or permission of either party. The judge can decide to grant
bail. You think so?
Whether or not the police demand of it. 96 does not say that the judge has...
Have you read 296 of the Constitution? 296.
What does 296 say?
Read it together with 296.
What does 296 say?
Exercise of discretion.
Yes.
Avoid bias.
Must not be arbitrary. Yes.
There must not be arbitrariness.
Yes.
Okay? You have to be fair. Mm-hmm. These are human rights cases. Bear in mind that the current posture of our court, even when it comes to custodial sentence and punishment, the court has a policy of imposing non-custodial sentences. So that attitude is already there. And bear in mind that after Martin Pebu, in the pre-Martin Pebu, there was this issue of non-bailable offenses, where sometimes judges will say that, for this offense, it is not bailable, so I'm not going there. The Supreme Court was clear that bail must not be used as punishment. Don't deny a person his right to having his freedom by using bail to punish him because you feel that you may not achieve a certain outcome. So in the interim, perhaps using bail to deny the person his freedom would have solved your problem.
Just for some education from you, when they say the law is in the bosom of the judge, what does it mean?
When they say the law is in the bosom of the judge, what they are basically saying that the judge must be reasonable in the exercise of discretion. It is not to say that what has not been prayed for, you will, in the exercise of discretion. What was the public interest matter in this? What was the issue at stake? When you say that you are denying somebody his constitutional right of freedom, you must found same on some compelling ground. If there's none, look, let's all be careful with how we are managing this democracy. When there are no known complainants in a matter, the police said, as part of their social media surveillance of issues, they picked that post up and decided to arrest the person to interrogate. They looked at it yesterday. They brought the guy all the way from Sunyani, took his statement and said, go home. We don't need you. If the police wanted to detain him, they have 48 hours. If the police felt strongly that there were some important matters that they feel that if the guy is let go, he would interfere, they would have prayed for it. The police did not detain him. They granted him bail. And then the man reported. They asked him to report. He reported. Now they say, okay, we are going to court. They are in court. They tell you, the judge, they are not applying for remand. They never told the judge that this man would interfere in our investigation. All that the prosecutor said was that bail is at the discretion of the court. And that my lord asked the prosecutor again. The man repeated himself, saying, my lord, bail is your discretion. My lord was pushing prosecutor to ask for remand. Okay. He refused.
All right.
And I commend that prosecutor for being professional.
No, because I was not in court and I'm taking...
I was the lead counsel.
I know. I'm
telling you truth.
I'm saying that I take your report for it and we appreciate you for the time.
Sorry. It's not good.
Thank you for speaking to us. Thank you for speaking to us. That's Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin, is MP for Efutu, minority leader, speaking to us about the arrest and the denial of bail for one of his party members. And there's a question I asked him to educate us on when they say the law is in the bosom of the judge. What does it mean? I just asked online, and I have Africa Legal Associates giving me a definition or explanation. It says the law is in the bosom of the judge. It's a legal maxim suggesting that the law is not just written statute, but resides in the judge's interpretation, discretion, and conscience. It highlights the immense power judges have to interpret law, potentially leading to subjective decisions, judicial activism, or final binding rulings that define legal outcomes. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We have more when we come back. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Kuma has always dreamt of commanding his own military forces.
Attention! Eyes right, stand at ease.
Because that dream is still a vision in progress, he spends his time commanding his money with the EcoBank mobile app.
Operation Supplier Payment. Dispatch 1,000 units of currency from Accra to Benin. Move! Move!
Sometimes he wants a little extra control so that he can buy only what he needs.
Command Center mobile app. Activate virtual card protocol and initiate payments for sneakers and t-shirts. Abort mission for leather coat payment.
Even when the general is fast asleep, his standing order marches out to sort his bills. With the EcoBank mobile app, you can command your money to make safe transactions in Ghana and across 33 African countries. Download the EcoBank mobile app on the Play or App Store today.
By the left, about turn.
EcoBank, the Pan-African bank. EcoBank will never call or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Looking for engineering excellence you can trust? Welcome to Left Signature Limited, driving progress through technology and engineering excellence. From expert electrical engineering design, installation, power systems, renewable energy, automation and control, to reliable data center and managed services, power infrastructure, network connectivity, server virtualization, cloud integration and data security, and cutting-edge software development, custom business applications, web and mobile apps, cloud and DevOps solutions. Integrity, safety, accountability, teamwork. That's the Left Signature promise. And now, introducing the Left Power app. Request for our services anytime, anywhere. Available on the Play Store, App Store, and on the web. Ready to power your success? Choose Left Signature Limited. Visit www.leftsignature.com. Call +233 256 111 811. Left Signature Limited. Engineering excellence for a connected future.
The World Cup is coming. And this time, you're not just watching it, you're living it. Match Experience Hospitality is giving you front row access to football's biggest stage in absolute style. Think VIP stadium seating, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, and priority access. No stress, no hassle, just pure football luxury. This isn't just a ticket. This is the World Cup experience. With over a decade as an official FIFA sales agent, Match Experience Hospitality knows exactly how to turn a match into a lifetime memory. So upgrade your World Cup. Call 055 155 1119. Visit matchexphospitality.com or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, today. Match Experience Hospitality. Don't just watch the game, live it. Match Experience Hospitality is doing this with Absa Bank as its official banking partner and Glyco as your official travel insurance partner.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Mejubi, I have a question for you. I am traveling out of Accra. I want to know how to listen to Eyewitness News. Which stations can I tune into?
If you're in the Western region, you can tune into Premier 100.5 FM Beach, 105.5 FM at Sky, 93.5 FM all in Takrade. In the Bono region, tune into Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we're live on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Eastern region, it's right 90.1 FM in Somenya. In the Volta region, you can tune into Holy 98.5 FM in Aplawo. In the Northern region, tune into Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East region, we're live on Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu, Mike 105.3 FM in Navrongo, Bolga 102.7 in Bolgatanga. In the Upper West region, we're live on Pupeli 92.7 FM in Wa.
And around the world, we are on citinewsroom.com. We are also on YouTube and Facebook. Just look for Citi FM and listen to Eyewitness News. If you want to send a message to the show, the number to send it to is 0549 986 996. And I'm going to read some of the messages that have come through. The MPP's accusations of government arrest as an attack on press freedom ignores their own record of repression. Instead of vilifying others, they should advise their members to choose their words wisely to avoid legal repercussions. That's a message from Wills Yoga in Ho West. Budgeting constraints is preventing government from recruiting more teachers, but we were told during the campaign periods that one jobs, three shift, three people. That's from John Kekeli Bansa. What an interesting arrangement of the two texts. The NPP party is still not learning from their mistakes, even in opposition. Issuing threats against public officers is not democracy, and they must learn to be constructive in their criticisms. That's Kennedy Onipayede. From Baba Chairman in Tamale, he says some of these judges I cannot read what you have sent. How can you change a face of a whole president of the republic like that and say we are Democrats? They go to the Republic of Togo and say we are Democrats. Christopher Yegbe from Peaceland. Please, they have done more than that. If it were them, it would have been wise. Christopher Yegbe sending that message. You can also send your 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996, or on Twitter, you can mention my handle and send your messages like Shia Onukpa has sent. And he says, today our lovely minority leader knows we are in a democracy. Wow, wow, wow. We remember this and the undemocratic speed with which it was delivered. He's referring to a story that is titled Supreme Court Delivers Verdict on Speaker Bagbin's Declaration of 4 Seats Vacant. Baba Chairman in Tamale, I think I've read your message. Sawari Jacob in Laura says, the law will always be the law. MPP shouldn't be doing as if we're in a different Ghana with different laws regulating us. Let me go on the phone lines and deal with another matter which has to do with, it has to do with how much you pay your trotro mate on your way home tonight, or how much you buy when you get to the fuel station tomorrow. Because of what Donald Trump and, America that is, and Israel are doing in the Middle East by invading Iran, and the subsequent reactions from Iran, which has led to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, there appears to be some challenges with fuel prices. We are seeing a reaction of the price of fuel, and that is affecting everybody, and it is on our doorsteps as well. Now, a coalition of policy and energy think tanks is urging the government to cut petroleum prices by 1 cedi 65 pesos. The proposal was jointly issued by Imani Africa, COPEC Ghana, the Institute for Energy Policies and Research, and the Institute of Energy Security. Now, this comes as government moves to cushion Ghanaians amid rising fuel costs linked to tensions in the Middle East. Speaking to Citi News, Executive Secretary of COPEC, Dankanamwa, said the proposal also aims to ensure stability in government's revenue mobilization efforts. Let's listen to Dankanamwa.
In consideration of removing some taxes on fuel prices, we should not be too excited to want to go scrapping everything completely over the next 4 weeks or 8 weeks as we are proposing. We do think that there should be a balance. There should be some fairness in which taxes can be touched and in what proportions. And so if you look at the number of taxes that we have propositioned, it is only the price stabilization and recovery levy that we have asked that it should be zeroed. All the other taxes that we did discuss, straight from the special petroleum tax to the road fund tax to the bust margin to, as it were, the fuel marking margin, and then to the UPPF. We are simply asking government to take half of what they are collecting, so that whatever losses that they also incur, we probably will be looking forward to our enhanced revenues upstream to be able to make up for that.
So that's Dankanamwa. I have you on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Sanda, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, you have done a calculation and concluded that 1 cedi 65 pesos can be knocked off. Is that the entire set of taxes the government has on a liter of fuel, or this is just one of many?
Sanda, these are just about but 5 of the individual taxes, and fortunately, it is not even the entirety of the 5 taxes. We are not of the thinking or the esteemed thinking that we should just remove everything, because Ghanaians would need to be given some relief. And so we have proposed a win-win situation, 1 for government, 2 for the people of this country. And we think that if the government decided at this point to reduce some of the taxes, it is only the price stabilization levy that we had requested for it to be zeroed. All the others that we mentioned, from the special petroleum tax to the road fund levy, to what you would term as the energy sector shortfall levy, we are demanding that portions of it, bits and pieces here and there be taken off, so that the consumer could have some relief, while the government also retains a portion of those taxes to be able to carry on whatever developmental programs that it has set out to do in the 2026 budget. So these are not to say to scrap these taxes, but take portions of it, and the government can retain portions. The consumer benefits, the government also benefits. That's our proposition, Sander.
So is it your thinking that if these taxes are taken off, government will not be hit hard? Because don't forget the revenue that the government uses to do everything that it's doing. Some of it comes from the liter of fuel, as we do know. So have you costed the knocking off of 1 cedi 65 pesos from the annual budget or from the annual revenue, and what that means to it?
Sander, I must say that, of course, with Franklin and Kojopoku and Nana Amwesi, we were quite clear in our minds that government deciding to remove portions of these taxes would not be in abeyance, would not be for nothing. You are in a situation as difficult as you are now because, of course, there's a geopolitical pressure coming from the Middle East or the Gulf. That has also seen international market prices for crude go up. It's not only the finished product, which is flat Argos, that has gone up. You have the prices of crude also gone up. We are quite mindful of the fact that government is going to get enhanced 30% or more from the crude that we also produce from our Jubilee fields, from the 10 fields, and export same. If initially government had already budgeted $72 in our budget for the year, and currently you are trading above 100. What it means is that for every 100,000 barrels of lifting we do, probably realizing $70 million, you will now be getting almost $100+ million. That's a windfall that the government could use to offset the potential losses that in revenue that these reduction in taxes could deliver to all of us. It's a win-win. It balances at some point. One might lose more or one might gain more, but if you look at the numbers we have done, we think that even within the 4-week window, if the government did only 2 liftings, we should still be able to get the government getting a little more revenue than what it would have collected from all of us downstream, Sander.
Now, is this proposal a temporary one so that the scrapping, do you want it to be temporary for it to be reverted to soon, or you want this to be a permanent scrapping?
Sander, if you go through our statement, we are clear that for us, government should not look at 4 weeks, look at the 8-week window. At least 4 windows within the 8-week period, due to the fact that the tensions within the Middle East doesn't seem to have gone down as much as you would have wished. Initially, there was a ceasefire conversation. As we speak, the American Navy is out there seeking to block the Straits of Hormuz entirely. That means that no vessel whatsoever will be allowed to go. Once those things continue to persist, you're not looking at a conflict that probably is going to end in the next 2-3 weeks. It could protract. So we've requested that government should consider this for the next 2 months, within which it should be making all arrangements necessary to reposition the buffers that we have in country, i.e. the bulk oil storage and transportation bust, and then the thermal oil refinery and other refineries that we have locally. We need to start planning and ensure that we can localize some of our factors so that we don't get hit by the external factors too badly.
Okay.
What is happening currently with oil pricing in Ghana is also having a telling effect even on your city's exchange to a dollar. Over the past few days, the city has been struggling, though not too badly. It tells you that if we don't find containment for this within the medium to long term, it could derail the political gain that this country would have made over the past couple of months.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
That's Duncan Amwa. He's Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC. AGB.
The combined Kumasi Central Market Traders Union is demanding the immediate resumption of work on Phase 2 of the Kejetia redevelopment project. The project, launched over 7 years ago by former President Nana Akufo-Addo and the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, has stalled for more than 3 years. Speaking to Citi News, Secretary of the Union, Emilia Kofi, called for the immediate release of funds to ensure work resumes by May 2026.
Unfortunately, we have not seen anything being done about this. The promise has not materialized. The union has gathered that the delay may be due to funding constraints. Consequently, we are calling on government to immediately release funds from the escrow accounts of the Phase 1 project that is held at Fidelity Bank and the Yasantua Rural Bank. That is to the best of our knowledge, to facilitate the continuation of the project. In view of the above, the union is issuing a very firm ultimatum to the government and all relevant authorities to ensure the release of funds and the resumption of work on the project by the end of May 2026. Failure to comply may leave the union with no option than to embark on a massive course of action.
The union is also urging Otumfuo Osei Tutu II to intervene and push for private sector support.
We have also expressed deep dissatisfaction with current management, that is the management of the Phase 1, calling for a change in the administration, and we are urging the government to hand over the market to the potential construction firm, contractor, to manage the market and to address safety concerns, operational inefficiencies, and the debt that is swallowing the market. Finally, the combined Kumasi Central Markets Union humbly appeal to His Royal Majesty, the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, to intervene in this matter to ensure that the work on the Phase 2 resumes with further delay. Kumasi City Market, Dubai, again, we ask that is properly privatized and the market is managed effectively in the interest of all traders.
Secretary for the combined Kumasi Central Market Traders Union, Emilia Kofi. Away from that, the Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando says government's free primary healthcare centers will see 350 health posts built in 150 out of 261 districts this year. According to him, the initiative, when rolled out, will make healthcare services accessible to people living in highly populated areas such as markets, lorry stations, and other public spaces. The minister spoke during a tour of one of such facilities under construction at Medina.
As part of our preparation towards the launch of the free primary healthcare, this is another concept, and we call it a health post. So we are deploying not less than 350 of these posts, and we will situate it in highly populated areas like market, like lorry parks, for health workers to work from that point. And so at every point, we will have, access to water. You will have the solar being inbuilt in the facility. You have the toilet. You have the pharmacy shop. You have the waiting area. You have a consulting room, and you have, a detaining area. So more than like a health post.
Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando. Now, the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has defended the recruitment of 7,000 teachers amid backlash that the figure is inadequate. According to him, budgetary constraints limited the government to securing clearance for only 7,000 recruits. He made this known during the launch and communications briefing of the 19th edition of the E-Learning Africa Conference.
If resources were available, we should be employing and recruiting up to 50,000 teachers across the country. But owing to budgetary constraints, we are unable to do that. The Ministry of Education received clearance from the Ministry of Finance to recruit up to 7,000 teachers with degree and diplomas. And accordingly, the process has been advertised in an open, transparent manner. My understanding is that it reflected need because many, if not all, the district assemblies were involved, particularly those that need teachers very critically. And as the portal opened, when it got to 40,000, the Ghana Education Service instructively closed it in order that we didn't have a stampede of numbers.
Hannah Idrisu also disclosed plans by the government to introduce a digital education policy aimed at addressing gaps in the country's educational system.
The government of President Mahama is currently doing an assessment of the digital needs of all students from preschool to through kindergarten to junior high school. We're also working as a government to have a digital education policy for Ghana. A review team is currently working at it. So my invitation is to the rest of Africa and to the rest of the world to join e-Learning Africa from the 3rd to the 5th of June at the Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra. Would extend the usual Ghanaian courtesies and hospitality to delegates that will be attending the conference. It is now my honor and pleasure to declare the preparatory stage and work for Ghana hosting the digital e-learning conference.
You heard Minister of Education Haruna Idrisu.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi. Let's speak to Dr. Peter Enti. He's Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFS. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Mario.
Now, I do know that the backlog in the education sector in terms of recruitments, the number is staggering. The Minister for Education is announcing that only 7,000 out of the planned 50,000 would be recruited. What does it mean to the sector?
Well, it means that we have not been strategic with our teacher training, deployment, and recruitment policies. We've not been able to think ahead of time in terms of having a plan as to how we are going to fill in the vacancies that occur in our education system over a long period of time. What we have been doing is that political game of mass recruitment within a particular period to satisfy a certain kind of political promise or whatever it is that or political game that we normally do. We have not been systematic, we've not been efficient, we've not planned to recruit, redeploy, deploy, and ensure that we are filling the vacancies that are available and not just posting people to the field for the sake of creating, in quotes, employment.
Should we stop training more teachers, or we should find money and recruit all the teachers?
Omar, the fact is that even if the minister is able to recruit the 50,000 that he's talking about, there will still be teachers who have been trained who will not be recruited and will complain. The point is that we will not get enough resources to recruit all those who are coming into the field through the colleges of education and the universities. And you know that in the universities, there are people who are trained to also go to the classroom to teach. This number that we are talking about, I mean the 40,000 that the teacher trainees are talking about, refers to only those who are coming from the colleges of education. The vacancies there are not enough to ensure that everyone who is being trained would automatically go into the class. And that's why I said that we have not been thinking about our training, redeployment, deployment, and recruitment policies in the country. What we need to do is to have is to start having a thinking around what really our colleges of education are supposed to do. You talk to these young guys and they tell you that we are trying to go and teach. So even when there are no vacancies, I mean, in quotes, the people will still expect that they are pushed somewhere because that is the sole reason why they went to the College of Education. I think the Minister of Education has an opportunity to start rethinking around what we are doing with our colleges of education, so that people coming out will not be expectant of a certain kind of teaching employment, but they can still be absorbed within the education sector, doing other things within the sector.
Very well. It is a big issue, but we'll pray and see how this can be dealt with. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Yeah.
That's Dr. Peter Nti. He's Executive Director of the Institute of Education Studies, IFES. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Up next is Business News on Eyewitness News, and is brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more. Big up.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house,
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
My friends, I'm a very happy man. Let me share my testimony. I needed a home at a prime location, but I didn't have enough money. The little I had was too small to buy even a studio apartment, but a friend of mine introduced me to invest to own from Priority View Homes. I invested the little money I had for only 2 years. True to their word, at the maturity date, I qualified for a 2-bedroom luxury apartment at a prime location in Accra. Now look at me, living in my own home without the usual hassle. If you want a stress-free home to live in, I would advise you to sign up to their invest-to-own policy in partnership with Omni Basic Bank and say cheers to a new home. You may call Priority View Homes Limited on 055-588-2294 or 024-4068-477 and you will never regret you did. Priority View Homes. There's no place like home.
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
Mappé. Et mappé. French, you did. This is a midi croissant.
Meet a Jan. She makes sobolo in a small shop in Kaswa. She's going places with MTN Ejumapa. Now, she's learning French kakra to teach her francophone customers indigenous recipes.
Watashi no namae wa.
Watashi no na. My boy.
Whoa. She's learning Japanese too? What? If you're a woman with a small business, join MTN Ejumapa today by dialing *5060# and enjoy 150 megabytes data, a lifestyle bundle for social media, free MTN to MTN calls every Monday, and an insurance cover. You will also gain access to expert training, discounts on digital tools, and financial support to grow the business of your dreams. Terms and conditions apply. MTN.
Kuma has always dreamt of commanding his own military forces.
Attention! Eyes right, stand at ease.
Because that dream is still a vision in progress, he spends his time commanding his money with the EcoBank mobile app.
Operation Supplier Payment. Dispatch 1,000 units of currency from Accra to Benin. Move! Move!
Sometimes he wants a little extra control so that he can buy only what he needs.
Command Center mobile app. Activate virtual card protocol and initiate payments for sneakers and t-shirts. Abort mission for leather coat payment.
Even when the general is fast asleep, his standing order marches out to sort his bills. With the EcoBank mobile app, you can command your money to make safe transactions in Ghana and across 33 African countries. Download the EcoBank mobile app on the Play or App Store today.
By the left, about turn.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank will never call or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejubi Wiafe Akentin. Let's settle for the details. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, is projecting global economic growth to slow to 3.1% in 2026 as rising geopolitical tensions, particularly the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, begin to weigh on economic momentum. In its April 2026 World Economic Outlook, the IMF noted that the latest forecast represents moderation from the roughly 3.4% growth recorded in 2024 and 2025 and is also below the historical average of 3.7% seen between 2000 and 2019. Here is more.
The 2026 outlook has been revised downward by 0.2 percentage points compared to the IMF January update. The fund's projections are based on a reference scenario that assumes the Middle East conflict remains contained and disruptions to global commodity market ease by mid-2026. Even under this assumption, the shock is expected to feed into higher energy prices, elevated inflation expectations, and tighter financial conditions, offsetting gains from technology-driven investment and relatively accommodative macroeconomic policies. Global inflation is now projected to rise to 4.4% in 2026 before easing to 3.7% in 2027, indicating persistent price pressures driven largely by supply-side shocks linked to the conflict. The IMF knows that without the geopolitical shock, global growth would have been stronger, with pre-conflict estimates pointing to an expansion of about 3.4% in 2026. Emerging markets and developing economies are expected to bear the brunt of the slowdown, particularly commodity importing countries with existing macroeconomic vulnerabilities. The report notes that a prolonged conflict could push global growth down to 2.5% in 2026, accompanied by higher inflation. In a more severe scenario involving major disruptions to energy infrastructure, growth could fall to around 2%, with inflation rising further, deepening instability globally.
Daniel Sakite filed that report. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa, has underscored the urgent need for strengthened measures to curb fraud in the banking sector, warning that it continues to pose a significant risk to the industry's credibility and long-term stability. He cited trends in reports by the Bank of Ghana highlighting growing staff involvement in fraud cases as a key area of concern. Speaking at the opening of a broad-level ethical training for bank directors in Accra, Johnny Watt said the development has prompted the association to intensify efforts to reinforce ethical standards across the industry.
One fraud happening in the banking industry is one fraud too many. So we do not want to record any kind of fraud. So if fraud happens as a community, it shakes our DNA. It shakes what makes us the banking industry that we call ourselves. And therefore, you're right. When Bank of Ghana issues the fraud report and it shows a certain trend which is moving negatively, particularly with staff involvement, we get worried. And so the training and the public awareness campaign that we are embarking on is all part of the processes we have put in place to help us address that phenomenon. There's a general concern. As a country, we have a problem with breakdown in morality. Moral standards generally has gone down, but as bankers, we cannot sink that hymn. We need to win ourselves. Even where that temptation is there, we have to do everything to win the industry of any kind of semblance of moral breakdown, leading to questionable integrity levels, questionable character, and then questionable standards, sanctioning credit to people.
You heard Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa. Ghana's growing youth unemployment crisis is being framed as a structural failure of the economy, with renewed calls for urgent reforms to align skills development with industry demand. Founder and president of the Design and Technology Institute, Constance Swanica, warned that the country's inability to sustain policy continuity across political transitions has weakened long-term economic progress. According to her, the private sector must complement the efforts of government to build resilience.
The 9th Ghana Economic Update is equally stark.
While the working age population has expanded by nearly 2.7 million between 2012 and 2023, employment grew by only 25,000. This is not a gap. This is a structural failure, and it falls heavily on our youth. Ghana must create 300,000 young jobs every year to absorb these entering the working age. That figure has not changed in a decade. And what we must change is our response. While we invest in young entrepreneurs, equip them with practical skills, connect them with mentorship and capital, and give them the freedom to fail and rebuild, we are not merely solving unemployment, we're building an economy. Every business a young person starts is a node in a network of growth, generating income, creating jobs, and expanding opportunities. Today's startups are tomorrow's industries, and we must create an enabling environment for young startups, especially SMEs in the informal sector, to flourish.
That was founder and president of the Design and Technology Institute, Constance Swanica. Away from that, consumer advocacy group CUTS International is intensifying its call for the passage of a competition law within the year, warning that the absence of a robust regulatory framework continues to leave both consumers and businesses vulnerable to arbitrary pricing practices. The renewed call comes on the back of concerns from retailers in the Ashanti region over a sharp increase in sachet water prices, despite recent government intervention to help maintain price stability. West Africa Regional Director of CUTS International, Apia Adomako Kusi, stressed the urgency of legislative action to promote fair competition and safeguard consumer welfare.
There are some manufacturers of sachet waters who are using solar energy to produce their water. So, of course, their cost will be lower than those who are using ECG. And so if you come out and say that let's all sell it at 15 cedis, then somebody could have sold a bag of water for 9 cedis. But now the association is saying that let everybody sell it 15 cedis. And this is price fixing. This is like a cartel. And currently there is no law in Ghana that criminalizes cartel. You know, in Ghana, Article 1911 says that there is nothing like an offense unless the offense is created by statutes and its punishment is stated. So what people are doing is wrong, but you cannot charge business association of the offense of cartel or price fixing because there is no law there. And so the best framework to address this kind of fraud and conspiracy against consumers is through the passage of the competition law, because the competition law addresses the issue of horizontal conduct like price fixing and cartel.
He further engaged government to sustain improving macroeconomic conditions, noting that a stable economic environment is critical to easing cost pressures on businesses.
I mean, until 1st of March, everything was good until this war started, and then it started to have impact. And no country is immune from external shocks. But the ability for government to do well, like we've seen now. In 2022, for example, when the war started, that time the economy was on it in an intensive care unit. So the war also added another dimension of crisis to the economy. By this time, 2026, the economy is good, the Citi is doing well against the dollar, so we are not feeling the impacts that much. Not all countries are having this kind of resilience that Ghana has. And so for me, I think that our managers of the economy must build a more resilient economy in a way that the economy can withstand some level of appreciable shocks. And we've seen it demonstrated within the last 5 weeks of this war.
You heard West Africa Regional Director of CUTS International, Apia Adomako Kusi. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. We're the one for you. Join the Republic verse. Do more, shine more, big up. I am Ejubi Wiafe. I can up next is Point Blank.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Easter is here and Electroland says come and shop. This Easter, make it special. Electroland is bringing you unbeatable offers, unbelievable discounts and exciting free gifts. Feel the rhythm with Samsung, TCL and Media Home Theaters. Enjoy your favorite Easter movies on LED smart TVs. You can stay cool all day with our powerful air conditioners. Want a bedside fridge for your chilled drinks? We've got you. Prepare your Easter meals on a 4 to 6 burner gas cooker with grill and oven. And make laundry easy with top or front load washing machines. Visit our showrooms or go to www.electrolandg8.com. Call 050-315-9739. Electroland, home of luxury affordable electronics.
Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Mr. Insurance claim no. That's it.
It has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite watchy joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
Mr. no. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying research to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Wunsaka.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandamani. Tonight on Point Blank, we are hearing from the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC. Now, the PURC says efforts are being put in place to ensure businesses operate within off-peak electricity periods as part of the 24-hour economy. The off-peak period, according to the Commission, will have lower tariff rates compared to peak periods, which will draw more businesses to operate in furtherance of the 24-hour economy. My colleague Hansi Najim, I beg your pardon, sat with the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Dr. Shafiq Suleimana, to understand how extensively this is going to be deployed by the PURC. Let's listen to that interview.
We are PURC and we are leading the front line in determining utility tariffs and also monitoring performance of utility activities. And it's been a year and a quarter so far, and I think it has been so good. And the sector is enjoying our skills and our talent, and we are hoping that it gets better with time.
Now, when you came into PRC, what was the state of PRC? Just an overview, and within your first weeks, what were the initial thoughts of how you would want to leave PRC?
I think when I came in at the beginning, we came in at the back of the IMF program is still ongoing, and I think it will end very soon. And we also came in at a point where PURC's relationship with other utility entities at a very low rate, especially with ECG, with other entities like the Chamber IPPs, and I think they were generally hostilities of the sector, that because we are the regulators, we were bearing all of it. So PURC was at that point where it looked a little bit hostile. So I took upon myself to visit all of them, all the entities, and establish the fact that utility regulation is not a policing event whereby I'm just watching you and ensuring that you do. We could do a collaborative work together. We established some key parameters where we can collaborate. We see utility regulation as a collaborative effort, because the lesser the problems within the sector, the less work we all have to do. The more problems we have, the more work we have to do, especially with power stability. So I was very, very, very open with them. I mean, the more stable the power is, the less our work. And the huge chunk of the problem was actually hinging on liquidity, what we call cash flow. So cash flow was a big problem. ECG collects revenues, tariff revenue. They don't disclose. They make and
a cash water flow system.
So there was a cash waterfall mechanism. It was never adhered to. ECG collects the revenues. They don't disclose anything, and they disclose minimal. They find it difficult to actually also make the cash available to the other entities, from the IPPs to state entities. With the help of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the help of the Energy Minister and the Finance Minister, we're able to establish what we call a single holding account for the Electricity Company of Ghana. That's the first thing we did, and that's transformational, because it has never happened before.
What you mean is that now, for every money ECG receives, stakeholders, including PRC, will be able to see the amount that is in. They don't have to declare before you know.
Exactly. So what we call the single holding account. So we consolidated about almost 90 accounts of ECG into a single holding account with a state entity. That's with GCV. Afterwards, we are able to ensure what we call visibility to the account. So at every point in time, you can obviously see, just like your personal account, you can see what is moving in and out. And when that was done, then you needed to adhere to consistent declaration. So we have a period where we have a cabinet approval of dates where ECG is supposed to declare. And where ECG declares what's in there, we have a cash waterfall mechanism committee meeting, which PURC chairs. So I chair that with the help of Director Regulatory Economics. We have a formula already. We have the cash flow allocation formula. And we do the allocations with the modeling team, and we have the meeting, and then we approve the model. And then we have another layer called the National Energy Security Committee, which is also established under the presidency, of which we send the reports to. So they then look at the approval and the allocation that we've done. And then if they have any questions to ask, they ask us, we rectify it. And then within a period, we write it. The National Energy Security Committee writes a letter to me, instructing that I transmit the same data to ECG. And we give ECG 48 hours to ensure that every party within this value chain is being paid. And that has
have these solved the liquidity problem? Again, because then the issue of volumes exists. Yeah. We always hear IPP say the amount that they are owed, they are just being paid a fragment of it. Have all these structures, by ensuring transparency and ensuring that the cash waterfall mechanism is being adhered to, necessarily address the liquidity issues within the space?
Tremendously, I would say. Let's give an example. 2023, ECG hardly declared anything. Let's even look at 2024, the immediate year. ECG actually collected about 10 billion the whole year, and then declared only 6 billion. So that's a 4 billion difference. In fact, the first issue is that they should have collected more than the 10 billion. They didn't, and they under declared by 4 billion. For instance, in 2025, ECG collected 17 billion, 17.2 billion, and declared 17.1 billion. That's a huge, in fact, this is more than huge difference between 10 billion declaring 4 billion and
6 billion.
And yes, 10 billion declaring 6 billion, and then 17 billion, 17.2 billion, and declaring 17.1 billion. And even the difference between the 17.2 and 17.1, which is about 300 or 400 million Ghana cedis, was because of the repercussions, because of the inefficiencies of the 2024 activity. So most of the inefficiencies of 2024. So the differences were actually yes, they were actually experienced in January and February. That's before the full implementation of the cash waterfall mechanism. So you can see that, I mean, it was still a spillover from last 2024. But after the full implementation in February, March, April, May onwards, you can see, I have a report here. Things started picking up. Things are going on well, and I'm very sure that 2026 we may be getting 100% declaration and 100% allocation, and it's
17.2 billion from 10 billion.
Yeah.
That's about 7.2 billion, more than 70% of what was actually collected in the previous year.
In fact, even more than what has been declared.
Fair enough. But what would you say to those who say that this is perhaps due to an increment in utility tariff, particularly talking about the part that has been collected, and also with recent issues of how some of the meters, like the prepaid meters, the units on it gets finished early?
No, so that's because look at the period where the meters were. I just told you the meters issues occurred in 2026, so it will be, and all what we are talking about is of 2025. So
that was about over 20% increment in electricity tariff.
So the other issue is the electricity tariffs has a very, so now there's a big problem with we are no two ways. We have adjusted the electricity tariff about, as you indicated, in 2025, and we did a 14% adjustment, 2% adjustment, and then then some other, we did about 2 or 3 adjustments in 2025, and then 2026, and we did major tariff review, we did another adjustment, and then the same 2026 we did a reduction. So in effect, cumulatively,
the question is that what will you say accounted for the increment in the collection?
Cumulatively, we've seen numbers from 2022 up to 2020. In fact, 2022, where we had a major tariff review, where tariffs were adjusted close to 30%, and it didn't have any effects on revenues. 2023, 2024, it didn't have any effect, and there were major tariff adjustments that were done. I think 2025, we took our time to study the issues as a government, and I think as the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, and as a government as well, to study the issues. Tariff adjustment are actually one of the issues of raising the revenues, but the fundamental issue is also with the collection and the loopholes within the inefficiencies within the collection process. So the net effect of even tariff adjustment in 2025 and 2026 brings our tariff to about 24% adjustment compared to what has been within the previous government of over almost 30% within the same MITO period, right? But we didn't see any increase in revenues. So what I'm trying to say is that what is accounting for the difference? The difference in revenues and the difference in what we have seen in the performance of ECG is because of discipline.
What exactly has led to this discipline? for the cash waterfall mechanism, you'll be able to itemize things that you've done to ensure compliance. With this discipline you refer to as PRC, you have any form of role to play in ensuring so
discipline and resets. So we are all within the framework of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to reset Ghana, and the passionate sense of changing what is in the past and taking Ghana through a path where there's more seriousness and there's more legitimacy to develop and extend or develop Ghana for the betterment of all of us. And utilities for that sake or for that matter is a central point. So it's the reset that we are seeing. And the reset actually ran through the value chain.
24 economy and PRC. How exactly is PRC liaising with the utility providers to help the 24 economy?
So it's something that it's a fever that we all have to be part to ensure that we deliver to the government, because that's the government agenda, 24-hour economy. And power is, as you said, we run power 24/7 already. The utilities run 24/7. So that's one of the areas where it is the easiest to implement. But then that's one part. If you go to the IPPs, they run 24/7. The power lines, your lines are on 24/7. Workers are running 24/7. We are building data monitoring systems for the utilities that will run 24/7. Obviously, if you go to Gridco, even PRC, we are also trying to build internally real-time monitoring that will run 24/7. So that's a fever that we are all on and ensuring that we deliver. But then we call something time of use. Time of use is actually, we have a 24-hour time period in a day. We know that we have what we call peak periods. Peak periods are when everybody or majority of consumers wants to enjoy or put on their power systems. And then we have what we call off-peak periods. Off-peak periods are periods where there's a minimal demand for power. In Ghana, what has happened between 2025 and now has been an escalated demand for power, to the extent that the base load demand for power we have, which was averagely something within 2,500, 2,600 megawatts, has seen an escalation to about 3,600 to 3,800. And then the peak load demand, which was around 3,900, sometimes 3,700, has also seen an escalated jump to about 4,200. Now we are seeing around 4,300. It means that what we call suppressed demand for power is being unlocked. We are seeing a lot more demand for power than expected. Okay, it's good. It's good for us because power demand is automatically economic growth, and you are seeing it in the GDP. You're also going to see it in other several sectors of our economy. Okay, we are seeing escalated demand for power in industries, escalated demand of power in homes. So now what can we do? Already we have systems. We have existing systems that we can learn and borrow from other places and implement in Ghana. Time of use. Time of use is just ensuring that you defer the demand for power or you educate Ghanaians, and you make facilities available to them in the forms of special meters that will allow them to defer the consumption of power within the peak period, or heavy consumption of power within the peak period to off-peak period. The first way to do it is to educate Ghanaians, and the second way, but because human beings or industries are moved by economics, you have to provide them incentives. So the time of use incentives will then be provided, right? So you let them know that during peak it's more expensive to consume power. Off-peak is much more cheaper. So, and we are going to calibrate. We get special meters. We are working on it, ensuring that we get special meters. And we also think of developing policies and regulatory works, and also adding special meters so that consumers can sign on to the 24-hour economy project, and as well rely on PRC to get assistance to using power based on the time of use.
Peak period. So let's say from 9 a.m. till the following morning, 6 a.m. Are these off-peak periods? And are you saying...
So the peak periods are basically between 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So let's say 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And it also fluctuates. There are periods where the peak periods can be so intense. For instance, when Black Stars play match around 5 or 6, you realize that there's a lot of pressure. A lot of people are trying to watch the game at the same time. And then, so that's generally a peak period, right? Between 8 p.m. and 11 a.m. p.m. And then we also have between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. when everybody is awake, everybody's on their TV, women are on their microwaves, cooking. Within that shot, everybody's ironing, everybody's listening to radio, TV. So within that time, between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m., it's also considered as peak period. There's high demand. Generally, if we're having what we call hourly pricing of power, it would have been easier for us to know that at the price for power, so every hour of the 24 hours is actually a market, and we would have been able to know the price of power. So we are moving towards there. The commission is also trying to price power.
If I get you, what you're trying to do is to move people in productive sectors away from these peak periods to, say, the low peak periods. So for instance, from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. Are you giving them different tariffs? What exactly are you doing to get?
That's what I'm saying. We are getting there. We are developing the framework. We are working with the 24 Hours Economy Secretariat, Ministry of Energy. We are developing the framework. What we are doing is to provide an indicative framework that if you there's an incentive in terms of tariff or a price that prices electricity cheaper within the off-peak periods. That means that you can make a choice whether to consume your electricity during peak, which will give you a higher tariff, or you wait and consume it in the night. So the intention is that the consumer will be, we call it economic beings. We are all economic human beings. You make a rational decision to shift your consumption towards the off-peak period. And obviously, let's not forget that we are expecting that when they are shifting, it will also change the off-peak demand. But we are working towards ensuring that everything is done appropriately.
Would this be on a wholesale level, or anybody at all qualifies to get that particular meter to shift their production to the off-peak period?
So it will be with collaboration with Energy Commission, 24-Hour Economy Secretariat. So you need to sign onto it, and then it will also be
the policy framework for this. Should I take it that
the one on police?
Okay, so is it going to be a wholesale one for everyone, or people have to meet certain targets before they can get these metered?
That's what I'm saying. It will be based on we are economic beings, and it will be based on economic decisions. The consumer is presumed to be making economic or rational decisions. When the off-peak is cheaper than peak, it's presumed that the consumer will be shifting towards the peak. But we also make deliberate effort. See, we are building 24-hour markets. We are building 24-hour. We are turning hospitals and other institutions into 24-hour activities. The presumption is that even if you consume power from 6 p.m. and you are operating into the night or into the next day, automatically there will be variations in your tariff. 6 to 12 or 6 to 11, you have a higher tariff. But immediately after 11, you begin to have a lower tariff. So that is what we are structuring and ensuring that we have a broader tariff structure category for every consumer.
You also know that the 25...
Also, you had the Executive Secretary of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, Dr. Shafiq Suleiman, speaking to my colleague Hansen Ajiman. And that's by way of Eyewitness News tonight for you, which came to you from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sandamado. I did this with Ejubi Biafia Kentin. Produced by Juliana Odami Asari, Bevelyn London, Sami Wiafi, Fred Tete Jabano, and Kobina Wilson. Desmond Nyako supported us on the technical side. Edwin Kwakovi and the new media team supported us online. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening and have a good night.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.
From 28th March to 8th April, enjoy massive savings on all Hisense fridges and freezers. Hisense got you covered. Whether you need a